Good evening, Blues. It's Ryan here to talk about Everton's draw away at Luton Town Football Club. And it finished 1-1 at Kenilworth Road. Everton scoring for a Dominic Calvert-Lewin penalty and then Luton equalising. Let's have a little talk about the game. What did you think of that match? Obviously, Everton already safe. Not a lot to play for apart from uh, potentially looking at moving up to Crystal Palace in 40 points. Could we target them and try and finish in 14th? Each place in the Premier League is worth around 2.5 million. And of course, we're in a little battle with Brentford for 15th at the moment. The dizzy heights of 15th. Everton now up to 37, though, unfortunately, which means Brentford can overtake us in their next fixture. If they win, they'll go up to 38 with 2 games left. Luton, however, had all to play for. They currently sit on 26 points to 25 points coming into this game, and a win would have taken them above Nottingham Forest in that relegation battle. So they must be absolutely devastated with that result. And to be honest, I don't think they deserve to win. I think the point was probably a fair result. Everton were rather unpleasant to watch, to be honest with you. It wasn't a particularly enjoyable game. And I didn't think Luton offered a lot either, but I think they were the better of the two sides I've had to pick without really dominating or creating a lot. Um, in terms of where Everton go from here now, we've obviously got to play Sheffield United at home. You hope that's a comfortable win. And then hopefully by the time we go to Arsenal, we can actually go there and try and win the game or cause a bit of an upset because it wouldn't necessarily affect Liverpool's chances of winning the league. Hopefully they're well out of it and lose to Spurs on the weekend. But for Luton Town, you do think that could be the end of it. Forest have now got 3 games to play, including one against Sheffield United. So I'd say Forest are possibly the ones that are going to survive. In terms of this game, I spared the other guys tonight in terms of the match reaction. There isn't an awful lot to talk about. Everton went with a very similar team to that featured in the last 3 matches, the 3 home wins. And coming into the side today for the injured Vitaly Mikolenko, he's got an injury, was Ashley Young at left back. And it was Luton Town, fully aware of the near 39-year-old struggles this season. He really has been a weak link for Everton. I hate to say it. In most games he plays, he's been the weak link. And we'll probably end up still offering him a new contract for some bizarre reason. But they really did target him. A lot of balls down our left-hand side, down their right-hand side, behind Ashley Young, trying to expose his lack of pace. He's not particularly slow, certainly for his age, but he's not quick. And he's bullied and he's a little bit uncomfortable there at left back. He really should just be the emergency cover, and he's played far too much football this season. But Luton did expose Ashley Young, who is a bit of a liability, to be honest with you. And that was really what Luton had about them. There wasn't a lot going for them. They didn't create an awful lot. I'm just going to get the match stats. I don't really have half and half match stats, but I've got overall match stats, which I'll come back to later. But yeah, it mind boggles me. And I think it's a separate video, but we certainly need fullbacks in the summer as the number one priority. Fullbacks, 2 wingers, and a number 10. But Luton, they had a little go without really creating a lot. Obviously, they got the star man in there, Ross Barkley. He really is their star player. He's head and shoulders above all the other Luton Town players, a cut above the rest. And I don't really care what he did. I know he ratted Everton out of about 15 million quid with that injury. But at this time, I think he's probably matured and he's more than good enough to play for Everton, certainly as a squad player. And I'd be looking to take him on a free transfer at the end of the season. And I think a lot of people are also agreeing with that. I think he's got a lot to offer still at this level. So in terms of Everton, I think it was a difficult watch today. It wasn't particularly enjoyable. I didn't think we created an awful lot of clear-cut chances. There's not many that come to mind. Certainly in that first half, we got the penalty, clear as day. He's pulled back on Branthwaite, and to be honest, that was a theme from Luton Town all day. All they did was pull us back, foul, foul, foul. We even were given fouls against us for clear pullback and drag back and shirt tugging by Luton players, which were very evident. And we could have had not one, but possibly 3 penalties today as a minimum. And I thought the referee was absolutely appalling. But he did give the penalty on Jared Branthwaite, which Calvert-Lewin, we assumed he was going down that left side. He hits every single penalty normally down the left, but today he changed up, went down the middle. Wonder why he's not so confident hitting it to the right. But 5 of his last penalties had gone to the left. But today he went down the middle. Keeper gets his feet to it, doesn't get enough on it to keep it out. And you think Everton are going to just take control over this game now. Luton are a poor side, losing every week, not winning games, on a really bad run. Can we deflate them? Can we slow the game down? And there we go. It's just a stupid long ball. Ashley Young, you could give that as a foul because the Luton player he pulls him and then he kind of pushes him out the way and then goes to finish. Is that normal contact? I'm not so sure. I don't really know. I think you could argue that it is a foul, but it wasn't given. And it was a good finish. And it's 1-1. And you think possibly here Everton's heads are going to drop. But we showed some resilience. And we got through to half time. Didn't create an awful lot, to be honest with you. The route to goal was pretty shit. Decore in that number 10 role wasn't really linking the play, wasn't really having much of an input on the fixture. Always wants to go backwards. And it was a little bit negative. And then the double pivot of Garner, there's no creativity there. And then you've got no creativity or anything coming from fullback. So you're looking to create things with your wingers, Jack Harrison and McNeil. And Dwight McNeil was particularly poor, very quiet. Harrison was the better of the two, which is rare for me to say because Harrison is normally absolutely woeful. He runs around, he presses really well. His defensive work is outstanding, but when he gets the ball, so inconsistent, always gives it away. And Harrison was the better of them all. But Calvert-Lewin, again, very, very isolated, and Decore not really doing anything. So at half-time, I was scratching my head a little bit, hoping it was going to get better, hoping we were going to make some changes. And it was more of the same. It was around 65 minutes when Everton had their first shot on target in the second half, which was at Jack Harrison, and it deflected, I think, and Thomas Kaminski tipped over. And then I think Everton made some more changes. Seamus Coleman coming on at right back for Ashley Young, Ben Godfrey switching over to the side, and also Amadou Onana coming on for James Garner, who was poor. Andre Gomez for Decore, who was also poor. And then later, of course, we saw Chimiti and Beto. The substitutions for Everton when we went 4-4-2 did make a big difference, and we did carry a lot more of a threat. But there wasn't a lot of willingness to get down the wing, get the fullback bombing on and cross it into the box. It was still very much long ball, hope for the best, play into channels, win second balls and throw-ins. There wasn't really a genuine route or creative spark for Everton, and it was a bit boring, I've got to be honest, and a bit disappointing that we weren't able to create anything. Luton in that second half were the better team. There's no doubt about it until possibly the last. We didn't really have much of a spell in that game, but you could argue Everton had some great chances. Calvert-Lewin, Dwight McNeil got on the end of actually a good cross from Jack Harrison, one of a few rare good crosses this season, into Dwight McNeil at the back post and heads it across. And Calvert-Lewin leaps like a salmon and heads it down, but it's too close to the goalkeeper. I think it was too close to the middle. It's a great save. Should score, let's be honest. And then he subbed off, of course, but that was a really good chance. And I think there was one more really good moment from Everton, but Luton could have snatched it also at the end. The referee adamant that he wanted to play until Luton scored. They even had their keeper up. A little bit of a nice cameo from Beto and Chimiti in particular. You felt that if a ball could drop and get Gomez to pick a pass, and he did have a couple of opportunities to set them free 1v1 and probably punish Luton. And I think we are better than Luton. We just couldn't find that moment in order to do it. Beto also pulled back in the box. For me, it was a clear penalty. He'd got round the defender and was dragged back. So there's a few little things there, but really there wasn't a lot. I mean, at the very end, I thought Luton were destined to score. It was going to be the fairy tale. And Jared Branthwaite blocks the shot and celebrates with such passion. So it shows that Everton are still wanting to make things happen. And now we're going to move into the last 2 games of the season. Be intrigued to talk about how what we do about the squad moving forward, because so many players are out of contract at the end of the season. I would be looking. It's a shame about Danjuma because he's got bags of ability, but you'd expect him to go. I'm just looking at the squad who played today. Pickford will stay. Godfrey will probably stay. I really hope Young is released. Sorry, but no thanks. Garner, trigger that 1-year extension. Tarkovsky, stay. Branthwaite, do all you can to keep this guy, and he's young enough to know that his ambitions can still be fulfilled at some point. Harrison, I think it's a thanks, but no thanks. Unless it's another loan or on a free transfer or a very, very nominal fee. I just don't think there's enough quality and end product there, apart from the running around like a headless chicken, and the good defensive work. Chumi Garner, of course. Onana will probably push to leave. I can see him moving on. Calvert-Lewin, Beto, both here next season. Decore here next season. Andre Gomez. I would probably, depending on what we're going to do in terms of, have we got any money to spend for transfer fees? If not, can we offer him a deal on reduced wages? Dwight McNeil will be here. Keane, you imagine he's on a hefty contract and he's just happy to sit around and take his money. And Coleman, I don't know. I think maybe that's the end for Seamus. Hasn't really had much of an input this season. I think he's on his way out. So I haven't got an awful lot to say. I appreciate you all jumping on, sparing the other boys the pain of doing this match reaction. But if you're new here, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, X, come over onto YouTube. It's youtube.com/follow Everton and give us a subscribe. Let's have a quick look at the comments. Barry says still unbeaten on the tracksuit. You could argue a point on the road in any circumstance is a good point, especially against a side that are desperate for points. Barry agrees with me about Ross Barkley. I think it's water under the bridge. Kevin agrees. Actually, he's awful. It's nearly every game. He's a complete liability. Makes individual errors, gets bullied, gets beaten. Peter thinks Young was falling over, looking for the foul. Should have done better. And Mark is giving us the final delight. We've still got Mason Holgate coming back at the end of the season. Well, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching. Wish you all a wonderful bank holiday weekend, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.